Hello, this is Christine Deal, and welcome to NU 442. I'm just going to give a quick overview of the course and kind of just sort of explore the canvas here. So here's where you will find, you've probably already read through this, but this is where you'll find my biography and information about me and my picture and such. So here we'll just jump right down to the syllabus. Okay, and so I like to make it bigger. Okay, so here you will see all the contact information, office hours. Please feel free to contact me by phone or text or email. On the weekends, it's best to contact me by text because I don't check email as frequently as on the weekends as I do during the week. Okay, so a COA prerequisite is NU 440, so you can be taking this course at the same time as 440, or you can have already had it. This is the text that will help you in your projects and assignments that are for the course. Okay, and then there's a course description. I'll just let you read through that, and then the essentials. Intended learning outcomes. So when you're doing your journal, I want you to take a look at the intended learning outcomes and identify how doing your service learning or your disaster hours is meeting these outcomes. Okay, and so you can kind of look at that to kind of help guide what you reflect on in your hours that you volunteer. And you roughly have something due every 2 weeks. So I would just get a calendar and just kind of mark it, but in your mind just think, every 2 weeks, I pretty much, until the end of the semester when it gets to be more weekly, yeah, think of, oh gosh, what have I got to do? So your journal certainly is due every 2 weeks. And if you don't have any new activity, just put a note to that effect that there's no new activity and what is your planned schedule. Say no new activity for this week, but I'm scheduled next week on these days. That way I can keep track of what is going on and if you need any help or assistance in finding your hours or an alternate place to go. Okay, methods of grading. This is pass-fail. You have to complete all required clinical components and hours to receive a passing grade. So you can't say, oh, well, I've got enough points, I get a 73%, I'm not going to do that project or that assignment, because you have to complete all of them in order to pass the course. Okay, and so here's just a little grading table. So there's a total of 600 points and 90 hours for this course. Okay, late assignments. I'm fairly lenient on this as long as you let me know ahead of time. I know that things happen and due dates can be hard to be met, and when you're doing your hours, your preceptor can cancel. And so just let me know ahead of time if you need, or you can get you have extra work shifts that they ask you to do. Just anything can occur, especially with this pandemic that's still going. So just let me know ahead of time, and then everything will be fine. Okay, just keep in communication with me. Your introduction attendance post is due by this Friday. Okay, and I use that for financial aid, for attendance verification. So it's important to get that in. I know it says 11:59, but I actually have to have that attendance verification turned in on Friday before midnight. So the sooner you can get that in, the better. Or at least let me know that if you've emailed me and I know you're in the class, then, I need just some confirmation that you're still continuing on with the class to do the verification. Okay, here's information about your service learning, 24 hours in a setting that promotes human health or wellness. So it doesn't have to be at a clinic. I mean, it can be at like St. Vincent de Paul or a soup kitchen, a school. Okay, and they don't have to be, and I just put an announcement to this effect, but they don't have to be in the same place. Sometimes it's hard to get 24 hours in one place because there are some restrictions on volunteers and volunteering and with everything that's going on. So just be sure you let me know what places you're going to be getting your hours so I can type up an agreement for each place. Okay, and then here's some examples for the emergency disaster preparedness extra 6 hours. Okay, so you can volunteer to answer calls. You can call the health department and see if they need help doing trace contacts, or look up websites for some additional training. Okay, and we don't have a list of those. Those are just something that you would find on your own, in addition to what we put up for the to the modules that we require. But the CDC is a good place to start looking for those extra training modules if that's what you need. Okay, and so then we also have an education outreach assignment, and that's 16 hours in a population health setting. So you don't have to actually go and do the teaching. So what this requires, it requires just like going into a community health clinic, a parish clinic, school nursing, some area where there is a need, like a homeless shelter, where there might be a need for further education. You'll visit the population health site and talk to the manager that works there, or staff that works there, and ask about what they see as some health education, health promotion needs. And then from that investigation, then you will research that educational need, and come up with a brochure or a flyer that is designed to teach that at-risk population on that healthcare need. So the 16 hours isn't actually teaching; it includes your interview, your assessment of the site, your interview with the manager about the needs of the agency, and then the research, and then the making of the brochure. So that 16 hours includes all of that. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then you will share your flyer or brochure with the facility, and then they can disseminate it to their clients as they wish. And so, but before you send it to the facility, you need to submit it, and then I will give feedback on it for any kind of maybe fine tuning that needs to be done, or suggestions before you send it to the agency. And the journal is required. It's just a reflective journal that lets me know what you're learning, how you're meeting the objectives, and kind of where you're at in the course of your hours. So it's a good way to communicate with me. Okay, and they're due every 2 weeks. Okay, you have a community assessment project, so you can work in groups. You don't have to. Okay, you can work independently. So you will apply the nursing process. You will choose a community of interest, complete a windshield survey, and then you'll do a literature review of the identified problem. Okay, and literature review will examine the most relevant community health needs assessment. So you will look up the community health needs assessment for the community of interest. So let's say you wanted to do the Hispanic community of Twin Falls, Idaho. Then you would look at that, research the health needs assessment for that population. Or if you want to just do in the Coeur d'Alene community, there's a high rate of hypertension. Okay, or you just want to assess the needs, the health risk, and then therefore potential needs for community health outreach and education, or an intervention for your specific community. And then your windshield survey can be geographic or non-geographic. So geographic would be more of what's available in the city or the area, and also which would involve your observations as well as research about the area. If it's non-geographic and you're doing a certain population, like adolescents in South Central Idaho, for example, or people who are suffering from opioid addiction in a certain area. So that would be more of a non-geographic. Okay. And so then you will come up with an intervention plan, and then you'll have specific due dates for each component of this project. Okay. And each component of the project that you'll do and receive feedback on will then be compiled into one big paper at the end. Well, maybe not big, maybe 5 pages. It just depends. You just need to include all the components of the assignment. So you get points for doing each smaller component, each segment, and then combining it all in the end into a final paper. We also have an online roundtable film discussion, and so all of the sections will vote on that, and that will open up. There's a date when that opens up to vote on which movie you want to watch and discuss. And then we will let you know what movie got the most, received the most votes, and put up a discussion question on that. But that won't come about until about mid-semester. And then the practicum evaluation tool will just be filled out at the end of the program. And this is something that you fill out on yourself, how you meet the objectives of the course or the evaluation components that are identified on that tool. So here's just a weekly outline of due dates. I would print this and just kind of have it beside you, or have it in a way on your calendar, or written down in a way that you can remember when things are due. And remember, spring break has changed. It's now later, and that's a result of the pandemic. Okay, so we'll get out of the syllabus. I sure hope this is recording. Let's see here. And then we'll go into modules again. Okay, and so, oh, sorry, I don't want to give you a headache by scrolling so much. Okay, and so then here again is this course schedule that is really just a bigger version of what we just looked at. So there, if you just wanted to just print that page, it's also in the syllabus. Getting started in the course. Okay, so again, this just step-by-step orientation, due dates. Make sure you read the syllabus completely. And there we go. And then your first 2-week period for to submit for your journal is January 31st. And just include, what you've done so far, even if you haven't had any hours yet. It doesn't take long to meet 24 hours, so don't worry if you don't start right away. But it's probably good to get those hours as soon as possible, because you don't know with the pandemic what's going to be potentially shut down mid-semester and not allowing volunteers. So it's good to kind of start investigating that early. Okay, and then there is an orientation quiz also that is due. And that's just basically reviewing the syllabus and the course. So it's just a quiz over the course. Okay, service learning objectives and requirements. I know y'all can read through this, but this is just sort of, you're responsible for choosing your organization. I've already kind of talked about it can be anything that has to do with wellness to the community. It doesn't have to be in a medical facility. Okay. And then same information for disaster preparedness hours, online training modules. So this is where you would access those. Okay, so you'd click on there, and then that would take you to those modules. Okay, and you'll be awarded 4 hours for this. And then there's just some information for volunteering for the Red Cross if you want to do hours there, and also volunteering for the Medical Reserve course. So that's just information on those areas. Okay, your journal. Okay, so basically you'll be turning a journal in every 2 weeks, but you can turn it in whenever you want actually. But like if you want to update it more often, you can. But there's areas for, you can do multiple submissions. So your final journal with all your hours and all your reflection and all that is not completely due until the May 9th. Okay. And then there's a template for that. So you can download this template. Let's see, right there. And then you would just fill this in, the date, your plan, the date, activity description, and then just some reflections, and then keep a tally of your hours, because then I can really see where you're at with your, in your progress. And this is also a good place where I can identify if you need any help with anything too. Education outreach, same thing, and disaster preparedness, same thing. So make sure you keep your hours separate. I mean, some of these hours will overlap, but you need the hours, identified hours in each one. Okay, and then there's a submission area for your journal, which you can do multiple submissions. You won't get points until the very end, but you'll always get feedback. Okay, and then these are the guidelines for the community assessment. You start with identification of the community, then the windshield survey, problem statement, the literature review of the problem, the data analysis. So see, these are all due at various times that leads up to the final paper. So all of these components are going to be in the final paper. Then we've talked about, here's the vote for the film discussion. Okay, and so you would just send in your vote. Let's see here. Okay, so please respond to the discussion post with your selection by February 28th. Okay, and then the majority vote from all the sections will do that movie. Okay, more information on the education outreach flyer. There's the practicum evaluation tool template that you fill out and turn in at the end, and then submit. And then there's just some sources for community data, how to get that CHNA, and how to find information on your community, Healthy People 2020, just some great resources that will help in your project. And then here's some resources for Canvas. Okay, so that is sort of the skinny on the course. And of course, as always, please keep in contact with me if you have any questions. Please feel free to call, text, or email me. I'm really happy to help. And I just think this will be a great semester. So thank you. And I look forward to working with all of you.